I want to hit the button.
You want to hit the button?
Show me which button.
You have to just hit the trackpad here. Well, hello and welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast. We're a podcast where we celebrate that Jeep life and we live it like nobody's business all the time. And, you know, it doesn't matter what we're doing, we're keeping it up. And I know, man, it's cold and I'm not a fan of the cold, so I'm not as Jeep lifey as I normally am because normally I'm top down, and even going out and working on it a little bit today, it was cold. So I have my people who were kind of born and raised here and are used to the cold. So I've got I'm able to live through them. Bill, how we doing?
I wish the skiing was a little better today, but burning rubber in Weiss's parking lot was a lot of fun.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, they just kind of spin when it's wet out. Any type of moisture, they just spin.
That's true. That's true.
Whether it's one or both or, yeah.
Yeah. So skiing all weekend. Having some adult beverages, and now you're on with us. I love it.
It's a lot of fun.
I love it.
Fun had by all.
Man, you've done some. You figured out a secret this week for the buggy, didn't you?
I discovered chemicals.
So Billy starts to stare off into space. Just we'll reel him back in. Don't worry.
Yeah, I went over to see him while I was working.
I wear a whole mask, and it's
and
like
the garage was wide open, and I get about 9 feet toward the garage, not even in the garage, and I'm like, whoa, that's strong.
Billy don't like that.
Yeah. No matches anywhere near that.
I walked into Home Depot and I said, I want your like harshest, strongest paint remover, thinner, anything you got, like melt anything.
Yeah.
And he was
it worked well because it's like down to bare metal.
He was like this. He was like, what are you taking it off of first? I said, I'm taking paint off of metal. He said, okay, so you're not worried about the metal. I was like, nope, and it removes everything.
So did he like go into that cabinet marked radioactive?
Basically.
Yeah, it's got its own little hazmat unit built into it.
And it's like a gel. It's not really.
Yeah. I've used stuff like that for wood before. It's like a gel to strip doors and stuff. It
killed it on all the tubing. It was.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, looks great. It's a lot easier than sanding everything 90 times.
It doesn't take off Monster Liner, though.
No,
nothing will.
No.
And what your winch plate and that is
because that's powder coated.
Powder coated, yeah,
or like a texture coat.
Texture coat.
It started coming off, so I gotta like just let it sit.
Like liner, the problem with you can't even grind it off. You just clog pads.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the like Brillo pad looking ones.
Yeah,
they're like about yay thick.
Right.
Yeah. They take it off really well.
I think it's like a 3M pad. It's like a nylon.
Yep.
Yeah. But it also throws it out. It doesn't keep it in the pad.
Right.
Yeah.
It evacuates it.
It does.
Look at Don with all the fancy words.
From an engineering standpoint.
Which, by the way, we will have T-shirts made that say, from an engineering standpoint.
I love it. And that other voice that you're hearing on the air is my good friend Don. Don, how you doing?
I'm doing really good.
Man, I spent some time with you this week.
Yeah.
Turning wrenches as you normally do for me.
We got one of the Jeeps fixed up.
Ish.
Yeah. We got a little bit to finish yet, but we got one fixed up. The Honda's almost done, so I got a set of race lands for it, and I'm looking for a set of rotas if anybody has any out there, and the turbos are on.
Yeah.
The rear axle's in it, and hey, I did it again.
Did what?
It's the wrong podcast.
Oh yeah,
wrong podcast, wrong time zone.
He drifted right into that other podcast.
Got to drift Honda sideways.
So I did there.
You can't drift a front wheel drive car.
I told you I converted it to rear wheel drive. There's a rear axle in it now.
Yeah, you should have paid attention a couple episodes back. Yeah.
What happened to low and slow?
Well, we go slow.
Come on.
I when I sit down on that thing, man, I feel like I'm actually about 4 feet underground,
Yeah.
and my head is just
It
literally
is
running right
low.
up.
It
It's
is
so
really
low.
and it's going to get a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But no, we worked on the Liberty
Yep.
Saturday, and
we need to do a little love on mine too.
we do.
What's wrong with
So
yours?
we're still not shifting right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the
that's fine.
codes are. We just got to get the scan tool out and
Yeah, do a little deep dive.
diagnostics
Yeah.
and dig deep. And,
Yeah, we'll figure it out. No worries. I do need. I'm remiss. My daughter's out there watching with some friends of hers, and I just wanted to say, hey, have fun. Not too much fun, and
they have off tomorrow.
They do have off tomorrow.
You know, it's so weird because I have to work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I took the whole week off, so I'm gonna do some projects.
And the worst
chill
part
out.
about it is my boss, his son is on the ski team as well.
Oh, so
so I saw him today.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we were talking, and he was like, oh, I'll be up here tomorrow. I'm like, oh, nice. I'm gonna be working for you tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
Unless
I could just come skiing with you.
With you, right? And I believe I have a guest on hold. Is that
we do?
Can you introduce our guest?
I can. So our guest that we have coming on tonight is Bryan Sterner. Bryan is he's been a Jeep tech at Sands Brothers in Quakertown for I'm gonna go for
Let's leave it a long time.
It's like 12 or 13 years.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure he'll correct us. I'm not exactly sure, but does a lot of stuff there at Sands. Does a lot of their Jeep stuff. Also
Stuff.
Also,
That's the technical term, I
related
think, right?
to Mike Rauch at OK Four Wheel Drive.
okay.
So that's his dad.
Cool.
And I've known Mike and Bryan for a long time. Bryan's a great tech, and so he's going to talk to us about some stuff.
That's awesome. Welcome to the show, Bryan. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm good. So you're now on the video cast. So stop picking your nose. Don't do anything that that you shouldn't be doing, or maybe do. We'll raise the caliber of the show. I don't know. But it's good to have you on tonight, and we're going to run through our normal stuff, and then I think we've got a whole topic ready to go with you.
I like that sign in the background.
I know.
I know.
really
It
nice.
looks great, doesn't it?
It would look really good in my garage.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
So if you have another one laying around, Bryan.
I love it. I love it. So we do have an updated store, and I'm going to be working with Shattered Dream Designs this week to maybe update a few more items. We're looking at get a new T-shirt.
Mhm. From an
engineering standpoint, done. So go to our link tree and find our swag button and buy some swag. That really helps us out.
It's right under the website button.
Yeah.
So if you click the website, you can go to our swag store by clicking another button, but
Yeah.
I'm just saving you a click.
Saving you a step.
Yep.
So make sure to go there. It's cool stuff. Everything there is just awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and they have good stuff. So,
Real good stuff.
stuff.
Speaking of stuff, we're going to give
Found
away
a name
some
for- found a name for this episode. Just stuff.
We're going to give away some stuff. coming up.
Yeah. So we got another giveaway going for our 500th subscriber. What we're gonna do is same as our last giveaway. Once we hit 500 subscribers, we're gonna take all of our subscriber list and I'm gonna go to a random number generator and generate a random number because that's what it does.
That's what it does.
And then I will count through the list, and that person is our winner.
Nice.
So, and our last winner was Steve Ide,
Yep.
which he's getting an awesome swag bag from the Jeep Life podcast.
Yep.
So
And you can get yours too, but still go buy stuff. That contest right now, push pause on the podcast.
if you're watching live, we give you permission to
go
not hit pause because you can't, but just open another tab.
Yep. Open another tab. Go to Instagram
YouTube.
or YouTube rather. YouTube.
And if you're not subscribed, go hit that subscribe button and hit the bell too, so you get notifications when we release new stuff.
Yeah, we've got new stuff coming. We're working on new content. All these episodes get uploaded, so if you miss it, it's a great way to to see it. And let's go down here, and we're going to read a review that we got this week. I'm so excited about
another
this.
review right now.
Oh yeah?
Yep. The lighting looks good.
The lighting looks good. It does. It changed everything. I think, it once we added these, it kind of.
Oh,
I feel like I'm getting a suntan while we're talking here.
Well, I kind of need it. It's wintertime.
I know, right? But here's a cool review. And Don, I don't know if you have it up or not. If you don't, I'll go ahead and read it.
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't have it up anymore.
It's from Civil Warrior 37. New to Jeep with a JT, and this podcast has great information on products and real trail stories. Yeah, we try to get out on the trail as much as we can, right?
We do.
Matter of fact, I'm going this Thursday, hopefully, knock on wood. Great job. Thanks for all the entertainment. Started listening at episode 1 on our trip to Death Valley in December and just caught up. Awesome. That's a 5-star review.
Got another review too.
Yeah?
From
Tell me about it.
Jerry Palmer.
Jerry Palmer.
Which it was just a message on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Saying,
Oh, I saw that.
Great podcast.
Yeah.
And then he sent a whole bunch of pictures of his awesome TJ, I think. Yeah, that's a TJ.
Yep.
So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah,
awesome
he's got 3 pictures that he sent us, right? I think, if I remember correctly. So that's we love that. It kind of re-energizes us when we see that.
It gets you pumped up a little bit.
It does.
And let you know that there's people enjoying it on the other side.
Yeah, because we do this every Sunday, and preparing for it sometimes is like, I've got to go do that again.
And we do it whether you like it or not.
Right, exactly. But we do, but it certainly helps us feel better about it when people tell us, "Hey, man, we love what you're doing, and we appreciate it." So, keep it coming. Yeah. Throw them in there. Some instant kind of feedback. Last week in the podcast, we had Eric on the show, and we were talking about his RockSlide Engineering. Step slides, which
are friggin' awesome.
They're amazing. So RockSlide Engineering caught on to that. I think they listened for the show. I think a little birdie may have told them that we were talking about them. But they reached out and they put together a nice little clip from the show and have been posting it all week and doing some pretty awesome stuff with us. And, those are amazing products, and just to watch, and I can't say it again.
It is a quality product.
Oh my God. And and
it's a cool. I really didn't know the company that well.
Yeah,
I liked Eric's, and it was something that wasn't on my radar. But I did some research, and the owner is such a cool guy.
Yeah.
He lives the life. And the video is it's cool.
It is.
The only thing I'm upset about is they edited out the part where Billy gave me the finger, and I think they should have just left that in.
Wait, what?
Right. They should have. As a company, I can understand why they didn't.
I guess so.
But they were just out at was it Winter 4x4?
Yeah, I think so.
Out in Moab.
Yep.
And so I followed them and lived vicariously through them, and it was cool to see the RockSlide Engineering Jeeps out there. And so they
got some badass Jeeps.
And yeah, they do. But Eric's Jeep is a badass Jeep. The thing I take away from it is his cool steps that come down. That's really super cool. So,
Brian, have you ever installed a set of those steps before or anything like that?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Maybe you should put that on.
I've heard about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are pretty cool.
Put them on the list.
Yeah. So, they install just like any other slider. I think there's some electronics, obviously.
Well, I was looking at it.
Some wiring.
I'm not going to say anything because I'm not 100% sure. Because when I was under Eric's, it was like real quick because I didn't want him to see me under there.
Well, he also has the armor on it too.
Well, it was hard
some of that.
So it was hard to see, but they're definitely frame mounted. But I think they're also pinch weld mounted too.
Yes, they are.
So they're pretty solid.
Yep.
Yeah. So my rock slides are pinch and frame,
right, and
the
all
same
the good
way. Right.
all the good stuff is.
So I would assume that theirs is the same way.
I'm pretty sure I saw it when I was under there and poking around at Eric's Jeep.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I love those things, and And you know,
I'll say it again. I mean, I'm just floored at how smooth that works. I mean, Eric, for all you guys who don't know Eric, that Jeep, first of all, you know, well, Eric put him on, but he wheels it. I mean, he doesn't. This thing isn't like a showroom.
Right,
They are
right.
abused.
They are. I mean, he lays.
He'll put
this
them on
thing,
a rock. Yeah,
he does. He lays this thing on those all the time, and you can see it. Like there's gouges missing out of them.
Oh yeah.
But they're not bent up, they're not beat up, and when you open the door, the damn things just glide right out. You know,
smooth. I mean, it's smooth like butter.
I mean, when I had my motorhome, that was $100,000 motorhome, and the damn things didn't come out that smooth. The steps,
I know, right? I know. You're not going to smash them up where they don't work. They're built like a brick shit house, and
I mean,
they're not going anywhere.
I've talked to him about it. Like, and when he's out west, they lay Jeeps on them.
They do it intentionally.
5,000 pounds on one of them.
Yeah,
and then get off that rock.
Yep. Open the door,
brush the dirt off of them, and they go whoop.
Yep.
Don't worry about it, Melissa. You don't have to worry about it
absolutely.
because these things are bulletproof. I mean, I would put them on par with like the Evo. Evo makes a wicked set of
rock sliders.
Yeah.
And I would put them on par with those.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so. I
you
mean,
have
it's
to
awesome.
Get the armor though. They say
I would recommend it.
You
Yeah,
need to get the armor if you're going to wheel. Just to protect the actual step, because what happens is it's 1/4-inch plate.
Yeah.
So the actual step sits in a little bit more, so they're not going to get hung up or anything like that. So, spend a couple extra bucks at that point.
If you're buying the system, it's not that much more to do.
No,
so definitely go ahead and throw down on that. Speaking of cool things that people can do to their Jeeps, we have. If I'm going to move Bryan out of the way for just a second, sitting on the table. Is a cool box and packaging and some products on the front.
So, since I'm regearing my Jeep right now,
I don't like these.
What? You don't like Yukon?
No, I do like Yukon. It's just the fact they're 373, not 410s.
Well, okay. So first of all, I had the rear set.
Well, let's start this out. You've done a lot of thinking, research, what you want to do, planning out, there is a whole logical thought process behind this.
So for one, I had the 373 rear set, and then this with the this coupled with a 4-to-1 Rock 241 OR when I get it will actually bring me lower than what your Jeep's at with the 488s, the 272, and the 37s, just because of that 4-to-1. But I'll be able to retain my mileage because I think when these gears are finally in it, and I'm going to start driving it a lot more, parking the Honda a little more before gas prices go up, and enjoy it. So anyway, we got a set of Yukon gears there. Those came from OK 4-Wheel Drive, Mike Rauch. I
was there when you picked them up.
Yep, absolutely. So Mike turned me on to Yukon gears a while ago. I pretty much all I'll use is Yukon or Mopar gears. I have not had luck with other stuff as much as I have Yukon. I do like it, and it's good stuff. And so what Yukon really does well is Yukon takes a look at factory stuff and they will copy it, and they do a good job at copying it, and then they'll improve on it. So like their track lock rear, like I have a factory Mopar track lock rear. They did was they copied that. And then what they did was they increased how well the limited slip worked, because the factory track lock is known for slipping a lot. Doesn't have a whole lot of bias. They've increased that. They increased the clutch size a little bit. They increased the spring pressure on them, changed it around a little bit. And I've had them. They work really, really well. So yeah, like I said, the last couple rears that we've done, last dozen or so, we've used Yukon products.
Interesting.
Yep.
So I like the marketing side of things, and when I look at this box, it's not your normal. I mean, it's just a cardboard box, right, for the packaging, but it's white.
Bear on it.
It's painted. It's got their logos on it on all sides, so it actually looks really good.
Yeah.
And then when you pull it
from an engineering standpoint,
actually, this will be from a marketing standpoint, right? So when you look at this box, it's not just a cheap generic box with their name on it.
No.
They've spent some time and that
money.
I think that reflects in the care that a
absolutely.
company would have in their product. So Definitely, I like what I see from a marketing standpoint, and I actually unboxed these for Don earlier. And the packaging inside, they're packaged
Right.
extremely well.
Right. Yeah. Now, Neil, I disagree. The factory Mopar gears, if they're set up correctly, work really, really well. And the track locks don't break easily. What happens is they slip easily and they burn out. But there's a few tricks to tweak them so they don't slip that easy. I'd rather have I'd rather have a Yukon, but they're okay if you rebuild them and you do it right. You can get some use out of them.
Yeah. So these are geared, a little bit better than stock, right?
So this would be a factory tow package.
Or a Rubicon.
Rubicon.
Yeah, if you have a Rubicon, depending on the year, and if it was a manual or automatic, it came with the 373s.
Yeah. So when I opened it up, I just looked at it and I went, "There's a ring," and there, I that's a lot of money for a ring, and right. So talk me through a little bit about what I'm seeing sitting in front of me.
You have a very specifically case hardened.
I mean, they're heavy. They're
piece of metal that goes through different hardening phases. So what they'll do first is they'll harden the actual product itself, like the entire material. And then from there, they put it through a hardening process, which they use induction heat to actually case harden, which case hardening is hardening a specific amount of the material from the top surface into the metal.
Okay.
And what happens is that gives it the abuse strength. So when those two gears are meshing together, they just hold up longer, and it gives it a better surface to actually like work against.
So the teeth aren't grinding into it. They're actually
they're
just
not
working
wearing away. They're working in constant all the time.
And ultimately, if you're not aware, what they do is, your dry shaft coming out of your transfer case is turning, one direction. It turns basically in a direction to the side of the vehicle. And then you've got to turn that 90 degrees to get the wheels to turn. And that's what your ring and pinion does.
Right.
And it's funny, when you opened this up tonight, you said, "Oh my God, is this all that turns at?" Yeah. And that's why, number one, you want quality like Yukon.
Yeah.
Okay. And especially this is a 30 on a Jeep. Now, this will be a light build. I mean, that was the whole idea behind this.
The one that's in, that's what, 8 and...
This is an 8 1/4.
8 1/4?
Yep.
Yeah. So the ones in the buggy are 10 1/4.
Okay.
So they're much bigger. Right. The actual like gear width is probably about like that thick.
Well, gear width will also change with gear ratio.
Right.
373 in the front of a Dana is actually a little bit of a thinner gear.
Mm-hmm.
And the carrier, you have to replace. There's a carrier brake at 321, so you've got to replace the carrier with it. But it's specifically engineered to take those loads. I mean, you can see the curves in the teeth. You can see. When we set this up,
how they're
cut. We worry about pinion depth, backlash for cooling. Yep. There's a lot that goes into these, and you really do want a good company. And I mean, Yukon is tried and true.
Yep. They have very good precision quality practices that are very important when you start doing this case hardening process.
Yep.
Because it's a split second of like, okay, you only harden it like this much, which is like a millimeter, or you harden to 5 millimeters of that.
Well, and
if you over
and temperature has a lot to do too when they're case hardening. It's very similar to like when you're welding trusses onto an axle. You have to heat the case assembly to a certain temperature.
Otherwise, it becomes brittle after it cools down.
Well, the weld actually won't penetrate, and it's because of the similar metals
Okay.
when you do trusses. But yeah, it's. Yukon, I mean, if you look, I mean,
it's down to a science. Like they got it.
Yeah.
It's tried, true, proven. Like
everybody's using them right now. You don't see a whole lot of them breaking. I like the company. So, most important part for me is I had a problem with the one that I put in the limited slip that I put in my black J cab.
Yeah.
And I called them up. Basically, what I had was some clutch chatter issues, and I soaked the clutches, before putting it in. The guy on the phone was great. You know, a lot of times some people you get customer service, there's a big ego there, and
Or they're not technically trained.
Or they're not technically trained. This guy walked me through what the issue was, which was no design fault. It was actually because of the strength of the springs that I ordered it with. Walk me through the process to get it to break in quicker, so the clutch chatter would go away quicker, and I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, just add an extra. You had to drain the fluid out, put fluid back in without the limited slip additive. Put 2 tubes of additive in it, and I had to use a specific additive that he told me to use,
Right.
and it was as good as gold. So, I mean, customer service at UConn has always been, in the back of my mind, another reason why I buy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Like I said, when I call for gears, Mike Rauch. Part of what I like about OK is I don't have to ask what's good or do my research. They do it.
They've already done it, right?
Listen, Don, this is what you want, and
right.
Sometimes I ask them why so I can learn, but
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And they're good people too.
Absolutely.
So we've gone on. We love the UConn. I now look at these and I don't know what they do, but I feel like I have to do them in my Jeep at some point.
These may end up in your Jeep. So
all right,
at some
they're
point,
good stuff. All right, take care of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks for bringing those in, and I can't wait to take a ride in the machine with it.
Transfers power in a perpendicular manner.
That's good.
Whoa. And from an engineering standpoint, that's exactly what it does. That's why I have these guys here, because they know what's going on. And speaking of who knows,
Don might know it. I definitely don't know what's going on.
And it adds gear reduction.
Yeah.
I like that. Transfers power in a perpendicular manner. Oh man.
Yeah, write that down.
I just totally, that's locked in.
Yeah, it's locked in. I love it. And in the guy that's going to transfer power in a perpendicular manner for us is Bryan. We kept you on hold for a long time. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then we're going to get into some meat and potatoes, I think. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I heard you had a terrible teacher at one time.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Oh, he's a good teacher.
He was never sober. Beat us.
He was never there. Yeah. So I've been four-wheeling for about, let's see, 15 years. I've been working at Sand since 2005. My stepdad is Mike from OK Four-Wheel Drive. If you know who that is. I've wheeled from Pennsylvania to California.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I haven't done that.
I've done that.
But you were just out. You were out of KOH, weren't you?
Yeah, we did KOH 2 times, actually.
Tell everybody who you were with.
So we were with Chad Owens of Owens Racing. He's out of Coopersburg, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
He finished the top 20.
Wow.
Actually, sorry, he finished 21st out of 110 people that started the race.
Yeah, to finish is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It was a big feat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then to be in a decent number and a decent ranking, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, and the other team we actually went with, they won. They won the race. Big B Motorsports.
Oh, wow.
Is the other team that we go with.
That's awesome.
And that was Chad with
Well, that was Josh Blyler and his father, Rusty.
That's it. Yeah.
Rusty Blyler. They own Big B Manufacturing.
Yes. Yeah.
And they took it all last year. Yes, last year.
That was awesome.
What was it like out there?
Dusty.
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 Dusty and cold. As soon as that sun went down, you were in bib overalls and Carhartts. It's cold.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Snow in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, I went to grad school in Albuquerque, and during the day it can be 80 degrees to 100 degrees, and then at night 60 and below.
Wow.
The change can be 40 to
that's crazy.
60 degrees. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like PA in late October.
Yeah. You
got 3 seasons to dress for.
In the same day.
Yeah.
In the same day. Oh, that's awesome. So were you doing engineering stuff? Were you mechanic stuff out there?
Mechanic stuff. Pit crew for the Owens Racing team. We did a 100-mile pre-run in my side-by-side. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's definitely it's definitely an experience, especially going across the dry lake bed at full speed.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
So that's been your latest thing, has been the side by side, right? You're racing those.
Yes.
Nice.
Been in the side by sides for about 5 or 6 years now.
Nice.
Still in the Jeeps. Still in the Jeeps. Still
And you
have one.
Tell us about yours.
So I have a 1980 CJ7 that's restored on 35-inch tires. I'm in the process of putting a motor in it right now for the past 3 years. So it's a project.
What engine are you going to put in it?
360.
Nice.
360 with a built automatic.
Nice.
4-to-1 transfer case with 456 gears.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy.
So,
Yeah, that'll crawl.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird to me, and we talked about this actually yesterday. Seeing a CJ with 35, 37
they
inch
look
tires.
huge. I know.
I mean,
yeah, it looks huge on there.
I can't even imagine. I would need a ladder to climb in. What kind of lift does it take to have that kind of tires on that vehicle?
Combination.
Yeah,
You're looking at 3-inch springs, some homemade shackles, a little bit of a body lift, TJ flares on it. It had to do some work though to get it up that high.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. All
so
right.
what have you been doing at the dealership? I mean, you guys over there were doing some cool builds.
We were until this stuff happened. We kind of slowed down with doing any of that kind of stuff right now.
Right.
Well, that's kind of I guess the big thing now is dealerships are starting to do more and more of the customization.
Yeah.
They're actually selling it off the showroom floor, kind of with customized parts, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting to do quite a bit of that stuff.
Yeah, we've been doing a bunch of that stuff because the customer, when they buy a vehicle, if anybody didn't know, I'll go into that a little bit. You can wrap your accessories into your warranty, so you get like 336 out of them.
Nice.
With the lift, wheels, you get that all covered under the warranty if you buy it at the date of the purchase.
Right.
Nice. Now, does that have to be Mopar accessories? Does it have to be? Can you use?
Yes,
it does.
Okay. It has to be Mopar accessories. Yep.
Yeah, or Mopar generated like Fox that are built for the Mopar,
Correct.
the shocks
Correct.
that are built for Mopar, right?
Correct.
Nice.
That's
what was the last? Didn't you just do a JT over there?
Oh.
We still have a JT there. Yes, we still have it. We have a Granite Sport Edition on 35s JT.
Nice. Bryan teases me, so like every time he builds one of these, he's like, "Hey, check this out. Hey, look at this one." I'm like, "Oh, stop, man. I can't afford this."
I was going to say, when are you going to walk over there and buy one?
I would love to. But I just, wallet's not thick enough right now.
When is it ever?
Yeah, sure.
Mine's so thin it's inverted. And that's cool. I know that. I mean, Jeep's doing. This past year has been kind of a big, from an announcement standpoint, with Jeeps.
You mean the $80,000 392?
392,
the 4xe.
Yeah.
The JT, just new stuff, new accessories. They're also going to be possibly opening a full custom Jeep shop that's going to be only like aftermarket support.
Oh, right. And that's going to be in Ohio, right?
It's going to be in Ohio, so you can order a fully customized Jeep from the factory, and it shows up, and you turnkey for whatever you want.
Oh.
They're going to go from axles all the way down to vinyl wrapping to everything.
Right. Oh, it's awesome. I mean, the 392. Tell me a little bit about that engine. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, that's the same motor that's in the RT Scat Pack Chargers, Challengers. That's going to be a pretty impressive motor in that car. If you go to the dealer now and actually look at the Mojave, they have the modifications already needed to fit that motor in there. Taller hood.
Oh,
taller
really?
cowl. Yeah, the Mojave Wrangler, or JT, sorry, has the higher hood, cowl, like it's all set up, ready to go already.
So that's probably going to end up getting that down the road.
Probably, yeah, to clear the engine and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that's cool. That'd be a pretty cool truck.
Yeah, I'd be into spending your money on that.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
At least you're not spending money.
The heck with my kids going to college. let's buy a
They should
392
pay for
Jeep
their own
something.
college.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Dad's got to live too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Go ahead, ask some more questions.
So the 392. And this wasn't the topic of the original conversation, but while we're on it, I mean, are they running a 241 transfer case, and is it the NAG transmission? And I understand, I think it's different rears. They're 44s, but I think they're beefed up 44s.
They're third gen 44s.
Yeah. I think they're corporate axles actually.
Oh, are they really?
Front and rear, yeah, and they'll be running the 8 HP 70 8-speed transmission behind it.
Okay. Is that so?
With
That's
the two.
Go ahead.
So the Mojave has the stock transfer case ratio with the Rubicon case housing. If you understand what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So it's the same gear ratio, but it has
the bigger case,
the wider chain and bigger case.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Huh. So they probably didn't do that. I'm assuming they didn't do the 4-to-1 because it was not duty rated for. With all the torque multiplication, you tear stuff up.
You probably couldn't get a drive shaft to handle that.
Yeah.
Reasonably.
Yeah. Huh.
Just
interesting.
Yeah. You ever see what a drive shaft looks like when it's twisted into a pretzel?
Sure, Billy does.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yep.
They're also coming out with all-wheel drive option too for the Wrangler for this year.
Wow.
Oh, I
don't
saw
know
that.
if any of you guys.
They have a full-time 4-wheel drive, right? Like in the Sahara, can't you get the? It's got like
They kind of just briefed us on it so far this year.
Right.
I'm not too sure on how it works yet.
Huh.
All I heard was more shit that could break.
Well, I heard about there's 3 major all-wheel drive systems and one of them they're going to use in the Grand Cherokee's coming out with some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
They got a new 3rd-row Grand Cherokee coming out, and it's going to have the QuadraDrive 1, QuadraDrive 2, and then they've got some kind of crazy 4-wheel drive system that can do like all kinds of crazy stuff, like pick an individual wheel to put power to. I thought I read somewhere or heard somewhere that they're going to be able to adjust tire pressures remotely. I don't know.
I want it.
We're spending more money.
But now, hold on. My source for this wasn't very good. You were in the car when we were...
That's true. That is not a great source.
No.
So all-time 4-wheel drive like that is perfect for highway driving and condition driving.
Right.
Is that something you would want to take off-road? Would you want it? I mean, other than maybe fire tracks or something like that? What do you think, Brian?
Personally, I still like a selectable transfer case.
Yeah, I think most people do.
You want that 4 low.
Yeah. Well, I think this new one, they said
you can select and
no, it does it automatically. Selects one to use 4 low and can do front digs like on its own.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you.
Take me out of the equation.
It'll put 100% to the front wheels.
What are you smoking? And
Dude.
Please pass it over here.
Just on it, not in the Wrangler, but in the new Grand Cherokee.
Why do you need to do a front dig in a Grand Cherokee?
Well, listen,
that's my question.
Listen, I didn't mean a front dig. Like that was what I'm saying. But like, there are times when you'd maybe want to transfer 100% of the power to the front. You know what I mean? Depending on road conditions.
Yeah. Go get back in your Honda.
I mean, they kind of have somewhat of that system now already with the QuadraDrive 2 in the big body transfer case, or in the big body Grand Cherokee, sorry. And sort of selects what wheel it wants on its own when you put it in mud or rock mode.
So I've driven older QuadraDrive 2s, and I will tell you this: in snow on the road, snow and ice for your average driver, they're probably one of the best all-wheel drive systems I've ever driven. I've had 2 wheels on ice at 55 miles an hour, where you would have snow on the other half or gravel on the other half, and they go straight. They're amazing.
Yeah.
QuadraDrive 2 has been around and it gets updated and refreshed and just keeps getting better and better and better. Does it make a wonderful all-wheel drive? Well, I'll tell you this: the Trailhawks have them.
Yeah,
and that they've run those through the Rubicon.
I was going to say,
That's an electronically controlled 4-wheel drive system, correct?
Yeah.
So that's how it applies brake pressure,
and it's got a clutch in the transfer case.
Okay.
And, yeah, I believe, right, Brian? The new ones have the clutch in the
Yes.
transfer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I've been super impressed. I've watched some of those Trailhawk videos where they've taken them through the Rubicon, and I'm like, the only thing those things really need is a little more clearance, and they're super off-road capable.
I want to hit the plus 4 inches and just put 33s on it.
That's what it's missing. It needs a button or a
it
sensor
does.
that says
it literally lifts.
I need to lift it up.
It does though. It's got an air
Does it?
ride, and I think it goes. It's got a total range of like 5 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, So Brian, what about the 4xe? That's what ultimately what we wanted to talk about tonight, and we've had a lot of questions about that, and ultimately, like, my wife wants a new Wrangler, and we're kind of holding out for this because we know, or at least we all think, gas prices are going to go back up. Maybe not to the $4.50 a gallon they were at one time, back in 2007, 8, 9, but I don't think it's going to be too long before we see $3 a gallon again. The other part of this for me is, like, I'm kind of excited about it because I really like my cars, and I do like horsepower, but I also, when we went through the recession the last time around, I did a lot of research, and I came across some really scary stuff. One of them was, we were at peak oil at that point, meaning that we were using more oil than we were pulling out of the ground and refining, which is kind of scary when you think about it. We can add some more refineries. We can add some more, we can drill more, but at the rate we were using, and this came from a engineering firm that was hired by a lot of large...
From an engineering standpoint.
Yeah. That was hired by a lot of the large conglomerates, to kind of get an idea of where we were with oil. The number was sort of scary, and there's a lot of variables that go into it. But if we continue to put as many cars on the road as we do and drive the miles we do, and CAFE didn't, the corporate averages didn't change much. The easy to get to oil, 35 to 100 years. Mm-hmm. 35 isn't the end of our lifetime, and 100 years puts our kids at the tail end of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary. Because we're, this whole world's running on
$10 a gallon for gas.
Well,
that's what it means when it runs out.
So when you get to that point, what it means is you're going to have large countries going after small countries, a lot of unnecessary war, things like that. So it's time to make some changes.
We need to change our thinking and bring in other technologies.
Right. The 392 is awesome, and if I could afford multiple Jeeps, there would be one parked in my garage, and the occasional Saturday and Sundays it would be out front, throwing knobs off the tires and going up the AOA.
Weiss's parking lot.
But yeah, but I'm not going to drive that every day, which kind of sucks because that's the boat I'm in now. The MPGs aren't great on my Jeep, and so I drive the Honda, and the Honda's, look, it's a Honda. I like the car, but it's not as fun as the Jeep.
No.
So, but we have a fix for that, the 4xe.
Yeah.
So, Brian, tell us a little bit about it.
So in 2021, Jeep has announced that they're going to go to a 4xe Wrangler, which is a plug-in hybrid, with a range of about 400 miles in hybrid mode and about 50 mpge, which is electric only on a full charge. It's running a 2-liter turbo engine, which I think is Chrysler's new engine. That's going to hit the market. That's going to take off.
Right. Yep. So, did this technology? Well, let's go backtrack a little bit. When you say 400 miles, that's not just electric, right? Like that's
both. That's gas and electric operation with regenerative braking also. So when the vehicle's braking, it actually can charge the batteries also.
Nice, which is pretty neat. It's so instead of losing that energy, we're recouping that energy, because when you brake, you get a lot of heat. That's lost energy. So we're recouping it back into the system, the power system.
Well, it uses a clutch system that puts the power back through the electric motor. So any motor, electric motor that you
can also be a generator.
Can be a generator.
Yeah.
You just spin it, and
Right.
it will generate electricity.
Right.
So that's what they do, basically.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Right.
Sign me up.
Because they took the starter. Actually, there's 2 starters on this vehicle. It's pretty interesting. They actually used one of the transmission clutches to start the vehicle below 14 degrees. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Wow. Yeah. How does that work?
Magic.
Corporate. That's a corporate secret.
Yeah.
Bryan, are you saying so when you you would start out in a hybrid mode, which is so I'm just trying to get an idea of what you're saying here. You would start out and the electric motor would start to propel you forward, and then as you build a little bit of speed, it would use the transmission almost like a first gear and pop in a clutch, right? Kind of.
Sort of. I mean, the vehicle, it'll run on the electric motor. And then when it wants more power, it can kick in the gas engine on and off.
Okay.
Because it doesn't use torque converters. It doesn't use a torque converter, if anybody knows what that is.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't have a torque converter. It has that starter generator in that position.
Huh. So no matter what, you're always going to start. It's kind of like a Prius. You're always going to start an electric.
You're going to start an electric. Yep.
And then flip over to.
But that has instant torque.
That does have instant torque. Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which sign me up for that electric. I'm all for this. I'm a poor guy that wants that electric life, but I also want that Jeep life. So I want the combination of the two.
Give it 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Well,
Let
of course,
the technology.
I have to
figure
save
itself
up
out.
money for that.
Right.
But
Well, so interesting thing though. This isn't new technology for
No,
Chrysler,
it's not.
Bryan,
No.
right?
We've been using it in the Pacifica. The Chrysler Pacifica has been using this same one for about 2 years now.
And I just read some stuff. I mean, they're doing all right? People
Yeah,
like them.
people love them.
yeah. So the Wrangler, as somebody said earlier, the Wrangler
Yeah.
is real.
Hey,
But-
I would buy that Wrangler.
Dude, I'm telling you,
That thing was
it's
cool.
I
Have you
Squirrel.
s-
We're totally
did-
off
when-
topic.
Did you
When
see
it-
that, Bryan? The rendering of that van Wrangler
Oh.
combo.
Yeah,
I would buy
I
one.
saw that.
Would you?
Dude,
It's like a forward control.
Yeah. Dude, I want to live out of that thing.
Boys,
I want to live.
back on topic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
It's amazing
So,
that Dawn
Bryan,
is bringing us
yeah,
back
how
on
about
the road.
it? So it's because I snorted my Ritalin tonight.
I know, right?
So tell me, there's 3 modes to this. We were talking a little bit earlier, Bryan and I think you said there's 3 modes to it. What are the modes? And explain what each one does.
So we have regular hybrid mode, which is both electric and gas combination. And then you have full electric, which just battery operated for around town. You get about 50 miles around town, just full electric. And then you have your gas engine only on regenerative braking.
Right.
So you just run it like a regular gas engine.
Nice.
Now, is that selective or is that computer generated?
Yes, that is selective.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool too.
So the user can actually
Yeah.
control which
Yeah.
mode.
Because I mean, so if you're doing city driving, it makes sense just to be an electric. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Absolutely.
And then you got to you're driving to the off-road park, throw in a hybrid. And it'll charge that battery most likely till you're there, or when you're on the highway, throw it in gas mode because it's more efficient than the electric motor in the highway, and that's pretty cool.
All right. When I'm on, Whiskey Ridge, which mode do I want to switch it into?
Hybrid.
I'm going to
Hybrid?
refer to Bryan on this one.
Gas mode and just
Deeper.
put the pedal down.
Smash that loud pedal.
I like it.
Yeah. So
The other thing, I like the hybrid concept. Don't think you're going to charge it really fast because it takes about 12 to 15 hours to charge it on the slow charger.
okay.
Your regular 110 house charger, it's about 12 to 15 hours.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they make level 2 chargers that like we have at the dealership. That part gets expensive.
Does it? Do you have an idea off top of your?
I don't, but I know we had to have electricians come in and run all new power wire for it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know the Tesla charger is somewhere around like $2,500 just for the box.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have to have an electrician.
And then you got to have an electrician come in, put 220.
I was going to say it's 220, right?
Yeah, they're all usually 220, and sometimes it might even work off like a 3-phase.
Well, see, then that's what I heard about the Teslas. I heard that they work only on 3-phase, and in some cases, when they're not 3-phase, you have to buy an additional box to clean up your electricity, which is like another $1,500.
So they would use a giant ass capacitor that you would store energy in. So whenever your voltage dropped or whatever current dropped, then you can equalize it over time and from an engineering standpoint.
So what's different about this Jeep? Like, what did they have to do different, Brian, to get this thing to run on electricity? Besides the electric motor and, the obvious.
They put the battery under the back seats. If you actually look at pictures online, they have a big plug on the driver's side that you plug the vehicle into, or the charger port into.
Where the vent would be, where the vent is, or is it on the cowl?
It's on the cowl, actually.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different things mechanically. I mean, there's 3 cooling systems in this vehicle.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive. Holds up to like 5 gallons of coolant.
Wow.
So don't ever get a coolant leak.
Wow. So what do they use all that for? I mean, so obviously they're cooling they got to cool
the regular engine.
Okay.
The hybrid controller.
Okay.
And then they're cooling the battery pack.
Wow.
Also.
Yeah, because anytime you're using a battery, it's generating heat, right?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So batteries inside. We don't have to worry about smashing it open on a rock and lighting half of AOA on fire.
No.
So it is inside the cabin then.
Yes, right? It's under the back seat. Correct.
Okay.
Where's the electric motor at? Is that that's on the side of the engine?
Yes, that is on the right front of the engine, right by the shock tower.
Okay, so that's kind of up high and.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Did they say anything about like water intrusion?
30 inches of water fording it can do.
Wow. So it's the same as a regular Rubicon.
Yeah.
I think that's what the numbers are. Nice.
Right.
So
it's without lifting or adding big tires.
Right.
That's your standard.
That hasn't changed.
Yep. That's awesome.
Excellent. Nice deal. Do they, what did they say what packages they're going to offer this in? Like, is it just sport?
It's going to start in a Rubicon-based package.
Right.
Where they normally start, and then they'll go from there depending on probably sales.
Right.
You get some cool blue stitching in your interior with it.
That's cool. It is. I seen the pictures. It is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you can have your exterior color any color. It doesn't have to be that silver blue, right?
Correct.
All right.
As of right now, as of what they have announced, you can get any color. So far, of what I've seen, though, you can only get it in silver. I don't know more than that.
What did you have any idea on what the cost will be for one?
They were ranging like a mid-level Rubicon to start. So 54, I'm guessing, around. I'd probably started.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's unreasonable either.
Absolutely not.
No, I mean, you're spending for if you look for an electric car anymore, you're spending $30,000. For a full e-car, and for a hybrid, you're spending for a good hybrid, you're spending $30,000.
So I did make a mistake. They did start at a Sahara model at $47,900.
Oh,
okay,
that was my fault.
So you can upgrade the Sahara to it. Yep. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So we have a couple of questions before we do anything for it. Can you trust a hybrid in the middle of Moab? Doubt they won't be putting charging stations out there. So it can be a gas only. I mean, you're going to be able to use.
So you'd actually
400 miles.
You can
right. Yeah. You 400 miles. Moab is not 400 miles.
Actually, that 400 miles is greater than any other Wrangler they have.
Yeah, it's more than me on a full tank, right?
Right.
So you're going to be fine out there, right?
Yes. I mean, like I said, if you're running into issues, just run it in hybrid mode or full gas mode. I mean,
yeah, and you're recharging your battery anyway because you're going to be using your brakes and stuff. You're not recharging it at a great rate, but
right. You're not recharging it at like a charging level rate. I mean, you're charging it a little bit, but not as. You're not going to be driving around with your brakes on all day and charging your battery up.
Trust me, Brian, you're going to get somebody that's going to come in with squeaky brakes.
My brakes are gone at 1,000 miles. Why?
Well, you ride your brakes down the highway.
Here's another question, and Matt, this is a great question: 2-door or 4-door only?
Ooh.
As I see right now, it looks like 4-door only. That's a lot of equipment to put in a 2-door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think they'd have a 2-door option in that.
Well, I mean, it's just let's look at it. Jeep sells 20 4-doors to every one. I mean, I don't know that exact
I'm
math, but
surprised they kept
You
the two-door.
can't get a 2-door.
That's
why they don't sell them.
right. I mean,
It's because the ones that they make, they're already sold.
Yeah.
You just cannot find one.
No,
I'm surprised they're still building.
I can't
People
believe
love
they
the
are.
2-door.
The JLs seem a little more popular than the JKs. I'm seeing more JL 2-doors, and I think it's got a little bit longer. 2-door JK kind of looks funky.
Yeah.
I like a 2-door. I almost bought a 2-door.
I like them too, but they look square. I don't know.
So I know Matt is wondering if he can upgrade his YJ to the 4xe. So can he pull his YJ into the dealership and do that, Brian?
Sure, we could do anything as long as somebody wants to pay for it.
Is willing to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm intrigued. I wouldn't trade my Jeep for anything except for another Jeep that's better than my Jeep. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at this. I would love to have an electric car, but fuck that. I want my Jeep. And if my Jeep can be electric or hybrid or,
So I think this is going to be the answer for us too in my household. So we were kind of shopping around, and then as the news started coming out with the 4XEs, we stopped shopping.
Yeah.
And we're going to hold out. We're going to give it a year or two because now we're in a higher price point than we were going to be with just a regular JL.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to do a Rubicon,
I found an LS.
I told you I have one.
An LS in the 4xe. What do you?
I think Brian and I are more on the same level of just smash the loud pedal.
Done with it. No, I think that's going to be an answer for us, and I think it'll be our family vehicle that we can drive. Right now, my Wrangler's a little. I mean, we drive a lot, so we do 50,000 miles a year. To do that on a Jeep where tires are $350 a piece and gas is. I mean, it's not horrible. It's at 17 right now. Right. Probably after the re-gear, it'll be around 15, 16, maybe 17 if I'm lucky. But that's a lot of money. And her Grand is decent, but it's not great. I mean, that's 21-ish.
Yeah. Well, there's no Jeep product that's going to just get 45, 50 miles a gallon like this, right?
Well, I don't know if this would equate to 45. I think we talked to this before. It'll probably be when you run the numbers. And it's a funny thing about hybrid and electric, the way they rate them is like kind of goofy. And so we don't really look at an overall MPG. But I think if you did and you did the numbers, I think it's going to come out to about 30 miles a gallon, which is a doable number, especially in an SUV. That size and weight.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I'd like to see like their towing numbers and actually get to drive one before a full,
Sure. So is there going to be a tow package available for the 4xe?
I would assume so. As of right now, I don't really know. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. I don't know if any of you guys have driven the new 2-liter turbo engine in a 4-door Wrangler.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed with that motor as it sits. I mean, I lifted a 2020 Rubicon on 37s, and it drove amazing with that 2-liter turbo.
Yeah,
I heard that too. I mean, you can barely tell the difference between the 3.6 and that 2-liter. And in fact, I think that 2-liter does more torque than
it does. It does.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a huge amount of difference numbers wise on paper. It doesn't look like a huge difference, but I think the 2.0 is the
point one is 0.1.
I think it's the future. And it goes to that whole gas thing. At some point, it is a finite resource, and
it's non-renewable. We can't renew that,
right? And as soon as we, as a society, as a world, kind of embrace that, and we're looking at those smaller, as you like to say, Coke bottle engines. I like my 3.6, but if I had a choice, I would choose the 2.0 any day of the week. And then if I have another choice, take money out of it. If money wasn't an option,
are you hitting the Powerball tomorrow?
I'm telling you,
Tuesday.
Well, Don is, and he's going to share.
Oh, okay.
I told you,
I've got a text that'll hold up in court.
I played.
I'm gonna take that hybrid over what I have right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I really am. The 392 is awesome. I mean, but for me, that is a showpiece.
It is.
Right? It's somebody that collects cars. It's somebody that's into that power.
Well, it's a great weekend warrior,
right.
And that's what I was having that conversation today. I dig the idea that my Jeep's a weekend warrior. I like driving it, and I am going to start driving it more when I get the projects done this winter. But I'll be totally honest with you. The idea of burning that car, even if I did have the money or the fuel didn't get that expensive, the idea of burning that resource bothers me. I have a lot of, I've got a lot of young children at home.
Sure.
I don't want to leave them huge problems. And,
right.
Okay, so I'm not the one solely responsible for this. But I don't want to lay there one day thinking, man, I could have made a little bit of a difference and drove that Honda Civic a little more.
More, yeah.
Just my thought process.
But I look at that 392. I look at it the same way that I look at the Chargers that are built out. The muscle cars.
Yeah,
those are not your daily drivers that you
not for most
right
of us.
For most of us, that's not your car you're going to use. But it certainly is fun to play with.
Right.
I would rather have something that's fun to play with and something that can be my daily driver.
I'm not knocking people that do daily drive big Jeeps
no, not at all.
I'm not knocking the guys that do drive their Challengers every day, or their Mustangs or whatever. I mean, to each their own, and that's the beauty of this. This world, this country, we all can have our own opinions and do our own things. But for me, to feel good about me.
But when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Dick.
Sorry.
No, I get it. Like I mean, I was born and raised a motorhead. It's a tough battle within for me. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Like I just can't. I can't bring myself to just. If I needed that Jeep every day, it'd be different. I don't.
Right.
If I needed a pickup truck, there are people out there. When I was turning wrenches, I needed a truck. I was constantly throwing transmissions in the back and engines in the back, and I needed that.
Yeah.
If you're towing, you got a lot of stuff you tow, a lot of toys. You need it. I get it. I understand it. But for a guy like me who doesn't,
Yeah. Well, man, Bryan, I just want to say I appreciate you coming on and kind of bringing a little insight into our world, and bringing your world into it. I know you turn wrenches for a living. That's fucking awesome.
Some days it's good, some days it's bad.
Well, as Don said, when you got to find that little wire and 8 pounds of copper.
No, 8 pounds, 800 pounds.
Okay. Anytime you do something for a living, it becomes a job. But it seems like you get to do it for fun too, going to King of Hammers and doing your own off-roading and your side-by-side work. So, man, I appreciate you coming on and
thanks for the Q&A, Brian,
and showing your wisdom with us.
No problem, guys.
I love it, and I think research when you're going to buy a new Jeep, research what you want. If you want the 392. Make sure it works for you. Make sure it lives your life. If you want that 4xe, make sure it fits your life. And, have fun with it. I mean,
because nothing's wrong with the plain old just Jeep.
That's what I got.
Right. That's what we all have.
3.6.
Right. That's true. We all have the plain old Jeeps. So I love that. Just live your life. Have fun. Research it. I love that we have more and more options as Jeep owners and prospective Jeep purchasers. There's more options out there than there's ever been, and it's pretty awesome to have that available.
They listened. I mean, so going back to the JK days, it was automatic or manual. Yep. You had one engine option, and you had a couple different packages to choose from. People said they wanted more options, so Jeep gave them more options.
Yeah, I love it. So this kind of brings us to the end of our show tonight, and as usual, I want people to know where they can find us.
Well, Terry, I want everybody to head over to our link tree.
Oh, yeah.
Just go right to our link tree. Our link tree is actually located on our Instagram page. It's located on our Facebook page, even on our YouTube channel too, which we got our giveaway going on right now.
Yep.
So 500 subscribers, we're going to give another Jeep Life Podcast swag bag out. So make sure you head over to our link tree. It's in each one. It's under our little about page.
Yeah.
So click on it. That is going to lead us to one site where you can access all of our other sites, so our website, Swag Store, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Pandora, like everything.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that you can just go find all of our links in one centralized area, and it just makes it easier for everybody else. So make sure you go hit that like, subscribe, follow, whatever the kids do these days,
Smash it. Yeah. We also have a new voicemail hotline.
Yes.
So you can call and leave us a voicemail question. Maybe we'll play it on air. Maybe we won't. Maybe I like the way your voice sounds. Maybe I won't.
Maybe you'll be a guest host.
Maybe you'll be a guest host. Who knows? 484-891-1172 is that number. 484-891-1172 for Bill, Don,
I gotta write that shit.
Bryan. This is Terry, and here's a big Jeep wave to you. Have a good night, everybody. See you soon.